Hi guys, I want to go ahead and share our Blackboard course with everyone, and then we'll just talk about the lay of the land for this spring semester in SOS 383 Environmental SOS. And so let me go ahead and I'm already sharing it, but I want to kind of minimize myself here. What? No technology here. And where is my Zoom? What I do is put this view in just a gallery. This, this will do. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the spring semester. It's a cold one out there, I know. And so it's great that you don't have to travel to class or find a parking spot and you can work on this. Let's start from here. Hello, EKU students. Welcome to SOS 383, Environment and Society. I'm your instructor for the spring semester. My name is Dr. Stephanie McSpirit, and I've been here at EKU for almost 30 years. Uh, and I developed the class Environment and Society in 2009. Obviously, in terms of understanding the environment, and the natural world, we have to understand the impact that society has on the natural world. And in order to understand society, we have to understand our relationship to the natural world, right? In terms of our use of natural resources in order to sustain us and human populations. It's a natural link, right? And subsequently, it seems that any sociology student would need to have at least some basic understanding of the interlink or the nexus between the natural world and the social world. Right. And I was looking at the roster and I've seen that any number of you are not sociology majors, but you're getting your degrees in criminal justice, general studies, or psychology. And there's several of you who are in the uh, animal studies program. And so that's really cool. In fact, I teach in the animal studies program as well. I also teach social statistics here at the university as well as intro to sociology. And so, yeah, my plate is full in terms of I love teaching you guys. And even though this is an online class, I hope everybody's going to get real excited about the content and the material this semester. And so if you don't mind, I'd like to go ahead and just do a quick rundown of where you can find everything in your Blackboard course. Remember, this is an online class and it's asynchronous, and that means you can complete the materials according to finding time in your own busy schedules with all your other classes and your other responsibilities. But guys, just out loud, in terms of time management, you should be putting in anywhere from 10 at the minimum to 15 hours a week on this upper division university course. 10 to 15 hours. And so actually get out your planner and just block out Wednesday night from 6 to midnight, 6 hours. I'm going to work on environmental stuff. And then on Friday, I'm going to do the same. That's about 12 hours of good material, of good study time in terms of engagement with the material. Okay? And so with that said, guys, in terms of getting started for the semester, one thing that I want you to do is get oriented in your Blackboard course. The textbook, Environment and Society, by Michael Carolyn, good friend of mine, good colleague of mine, and I was one of the reviewers of, and I'm continue to be a reviewer of each of his editions, but of his first edition, and made a solid argument that this was a necessary must as an environmental sociology text for students. Before then, it was really hard finding a good, solid text that introduces students to the multiple dimensions of understanding our relationship to the environment and our role in creating environmental problems in terms of our impacts on the environment, but also in terms of working towards environmental solutions. This textbook, as opposed to other textbooks, talks a lot or devotes just as much time to what communities and regions and countries are doing in order to address the impacts of society on the environment, in order to heal the environment, okay? And create maybe quote unquote, a sustainable world for future generations, okay? That's a big question pressing us in terms of the field of SOC 383, environment and society. This issue of sustainable living, okay, where our impacts on the earth are such that we leave, all right, and we care and nurture the earth and the environment in order to provide future generations with the same clean air, clean water, beautiful forests that we have here with us still today, okay? Yeah, and how do we heal the earth? Okay, these are big questions, all right? Things that we'll start to talk about, and I want you guys to start to address as you're reading the textbooks. What's going on in your own communities, right? In your own state, right? In order to make the world, the environment, a better place, right? Not just for us, but for other species, right? Important questions that you should be starting to think about. Okay. Lots of opportunities and career opportunities with regard to working in the field of environmental conservation, right? Environmental movements and environmental sustainability. Okay. And so with that said, guys, one of the things that I want to do is just show you where everything is. Um, I want everybody in terms of make sure you have the Carolyn text. And it is available as an ebook, which I will show you right here in the in your Blackboard main menu tab. And then I want you to review the syllabus, and we'll do that a little bit here in this orientation. And not most importantly, but these are three main items. I would like you to make sure to introduce yourself through the blog posts by responding to the prompts that have been provided. And one of those is to kind of reflect on some of your own personal experiences and good memories with regard to being in the outdoors and how important those experiences, right, of being out in nature among the trees, swimming, and so on, how those have been important in terms of forming just who you are, in terms of your good memories, in terms of your background. And so with that said, guys, the course syllabus, okay, here's the ebook. I'll just show you where that is real quick. Student mode is on here, environment and society. And here's the textbook. One thing that I would recommend that you do, and we'll talk a little bit more about it later, is I think I would prefer is that all of you maybe access Blackboard and the textbook in Google Chrome. The reason being, there's some really neat add-ons. The Read Aloud add-on that you can download for your Chrome browser will allow you to actually listen to the textbook, right? Or have it in the background as you take notes or as you study. And those are things we'll go over next week in terms of some of the basics on that. But Google Chrome, and if you want to go ahead and look for the Read Aloud browser, Read Aloud app extension for your Google Chrome browser. And that way, when you click this on, oh, let me see. read now. Here. Um, One of the things I'm asking you to do here is what I'll be asking you to do is read the first next week, the introduction, individual society, and what we mean by pragmatic environmentalism, where the focus is not just on environmental problems, but what communities and people are doing in order to address those problems. Okay? And governments. Okay? And so, with that said, a couple things here that are interesting is just you're going to be reading chapter 1, highlights and bookmarks that you can add to your individual copy. And then there is a Coach Me where you can prompt the web browser to ask you a few questions with regard to that particular chapter. These are not required in terms of the assignments, but this is a way to test yourself along the way as you gear up and get ready for the quizzes. Okay? And so those are things. Uh, this week, you're not obligated to read chapter 1, the introduction. I want everybody to just get their bearings. Okay? And so that's in terms of the textbook. Um, And then let me get back into SOS 383 here. And then in terms of the course syllabus, guys, just a quick rundown. Make sure to download that and read it on your own time. I won't read this to you, but I just want to highlight a couple important items here. Okay. 3 credit hours. Steph McSpirit. My office is in the Commonwealth building now. I used to be in the Keith building, but that doesn't really matter for an online class here, insofar as many of you will be probably contacting me or talking with me through Zoom. And so if you want to meet, my schedule is flexible and I can be available anytime in the evenings or early mornings before work for a Zoom meeting if you have anything that you would like to discuss or go over together. Yeah, and so in terms of the importance of sociology to the study of the environment are things, arguments that we will make. But other disciplines also add to our understanding of our impacts on the environment and provide insights on what we should be doing better in order to protect our natural resources and our trees, our forests, our waterways, and so on. Okay? And so the course description is one where we're not just applying concepts from sociology, but also concepts from ecology, political economy, and anthropology, as well as biology and the environmental sciences to better understand the relationship between humans and the physical and natural environments. Okay. Time requirements, at least 10 to 15 hours per week in this class, in the 16 weeks that we have together starting officially next week. And in terms of the requirements, after each chapter, there will be a quiz, and you will be responsible to write a 500-word blog and respond in 200 to 300 words a response to other blogs, okay, at least 2, by Sunday evenings at 11 p.m., okay? And so your quiz, your blog, and blog responses are your responsibilities each week and should be posted by Sunday at 11 p.m. Okay, so manage your time and plan accordingly, okay? And to reinforce our timeline and to keep everyone on task and putting in the required time per week per college credit hour. Okay, I won't be accepting any late assignments, okay, unless they're accompanied by a pre-approved excusal from the professor. Okay, so if you're running into a time bind for whatever reason, you need to just email me, not Sunday or Monday, but a couple days in advance. And so we can talk about, um, a new schedule for posting your late assignments. Okay. And so that's the requirement for this class. Okay. Um, and getting behind on assignments is never a good idea. All right. And so this strict late policy will help you be successful in this class. Okay. And besides, we're going to be working hard together in order to meet the following learning objectives. Okay, this is what we want to do together in this SOS 300 class. Okay, we want to learn to recognize and discern concepts and terms from the field of environmental sociology. And again, we're going to be bringing concepts not only from sociology, but from the fields of environmental science, biology, anthropology, and ecology. Okay, so we're going to expand our repertoire in terms of our uh, conceptual tools in this class. Okay. And then based on those concepts, we're going to be in a better position to describe the relationship and intersection between the environment and society. Okay. And we're going to be describing and demonstrating, right, our understanding of, of that intersection and the connection between ourselves and our environment in terms of the natural world through our blog posts. And through those blog posts, we're going to apply concepts and terms from the field of environmental sociology, all right? And again, that's encompasses other fields as well to gain a deeper understanding of the interconnection, right, between the environment and society and ourselves and our place in the natural world. Okay. And then you're going to write about those social underpinnings and social structures that impact humans and the environments. Okay. We're going to recognize, describe, and apply and write about uh, the connection between society and the environment, right? By applying those concepts that we're going to be learning together in each of the chapters. Okay. And so with each chapter, guys, as you'd maybe take notes on this orientation, there's a study guide that lists out, okay, all the concepts that I want you to kind of master. And based on those concepts, okay, I want you to kind of take notes on the text in order to understand those concepts. And then you're going to apply those concepts, all right, in your blog posts. And then you're going to study those concepts in order to take the quiz. All right. So you're going to gain mastery each week, okay, in terms of areas with regard to waste management, climate change, agriculture in terms of and food, and so on. Okay. And I'll get to that in a minute in terms of, I'm thinking ahead in terms of the course schedule. Okay. And so we know in terms of our assignments and our grading, weekly assignments, they're going to be due each week, and we'll cover one chapter of the text. Okay. And so you'll be able to, you'll be required to read the assigned chapter, study the PowerPoints, and prepare for the end of week quiz over the assigned chapter. All right. And remember, you'll also be required to actively contribute to the weekly blog in Blackboard. Okay. It is here where you will practice your skills in describing and applying concepts and terms from the lecture and the text as you write about the connection and relationship between ourselves, our community, society, and the natural world. And don't worry, I'll provide you with a lot of neat prompts in order to get you writing. Okay? And the quizzes will be 20 to 25 multiple choice true-false questions each week. Okay, on each chapter. And don't worry, no stress. You can always take the quiz twice to improve your score. But again, if you're studying from the study guide and you're reading the chapter in order to take down definitions of those concepts, and you're really thinking hard about how they apply to your blog posts, those quizzes should be relatively easy, given all the hard work you put into preparing for them. The final exam will be cumulative rather than multiple choice, and it will be in essay format. Okay. The final exam will be a series of essays that will demonstrate your competency in applying concepts and terms learned in class. And though you need not stress over this cumulative essay exam, if you have written effective blog posts each week throughout the semester, you will be readying yourself to do well on the final exam essays. Okay? There's an overlap between those blog posts and the final exam essay. There's going to be 2 essays, or I think 3. I'm not sure, but we'll get to that at the end of the semester. Wait, yes, there's only 2 essays for environment and society, I believe. And then anyway, in terms of the grade breakdown, the quizzes, all the quizzes together will be 30% of your final grade, the blogs another 30%, and your final essay exam 40%. But again, you can't do well on that final essay exam unless you've done well on the blogs. And so do well on the blogs, and the final exam essay will rate itself. Okay? Final grades will be based on the following scale, right? 100 to 90 to 100 is an A, 89.9 to an 80 is a B, 79.9 to 70 is a C, and so on. And then, guys, there will be no rounding of grades upward in the final hours. And I know a lot of students will appeal for extra credit or pleas for how important it is that they have a certain grade in order to keep a scholarship or what have you. But I won't be listening to those appeals. And this may sound harsh, but it is only fair to other students who have put in the time and effort each week during our term together. And so if you want to do well in this class, do the work, right? Let's just keep the mantra of that for all your classes. If I want to do well in my classes, I've got to do the work, right? I've got to set out a scheduled set of hours each week to work on this material. No stress, right? People get under stress when they aren't managing their time, right? Relax, say, hey, I've got 6 hours. I'm going to put on some music in the background and I'm going to work on my SOC383 materials, Environment and Society, my favorite class. That's what you're going to say, right? Before you get started. Yeah. Okay. And so here's the course schedule, guys. And this is where I was stammering before in terms of each of the topics that we'll be covering together. In week 1, that's this week here, just get started. Review the syllabus, review the text, and get excited about what lies ahead. Next week, I'll be assigning chapter 1, right, which we took a peek at in Blackboard on individuals, societies, and pragmatic environmentalism, where Carolyn starts to talk about what he means by a pragmatic and practical environmentalism. Chapter 2 will cover greenhouse gases, and chapter 3 will look at waste and garbage, right? Municipal waste, toxic waste, e-waste, electronic waste, and right. And then in terms of chapter 4, I think this is always my favorite chapter, biodiversity, right? Chapter 5, we will look at water and look at water in society, right? And population, right, is chapter 6. Transportation is chapter 7. And that chapter will cover, even though in there's a spring break, but we'll have 2 weeks to complete that chapter. So you can do it during spring break or before. And chapter 8 will focus on agriculture and farming and food. Chapter 9, energy production. Chapter 10, the political economy in terms of making markets fair and sustainable. And then chapter 11 on governance bias and blind spots. Okay, in terms of governmental policy and regulations and so on. We'll be focusing on that for those broader institutional structures in terms of chapter 10 on the economy, chapter 11 on government, chapter 12 will look at just those broad factors of stratification in terms of inequality and how inequality and poverty, um, uh, how the poor are more likely to be impacted by environmental problems and what this means for the area of environmental justice. And then from our beliefs to our behaviors, right? To pragmatism, to environmental pragmatism in action. Right? And then that will be, and then week 16, May 12th, I will be posting, oh yeah, only 2 essays. That's right. I always confuse. I used to have a final kind of capstone essay, but will be complete essay 1 and 2. And trust me, guys, if you are working well through these your blog assignments, these essays will really just snap together in terms of rearranging material that you've been working through and writing about throughout the semester. Again, I can't stress enough how important it is to put the elbow grease into your blog posts. Okay, important university policies, disability statement, discrimination, harassment, and violence, academic integrity statement. Here, guys, I know in terms of the big AI revolution, in terms of ChatGPT and so on, academic dishonesty also includes the use of artificial intelligence to generate work and writing that is not your own, but that you sign as your own. This is clearly academic dishonesty. Guys, don't use AI-generated content in your blog posts. It would be hard to as well because I'm always asking you to reflect on your personal experiences or observations. But nevertheless, and then again, you have to apply and work through these concepts that are on the study guide. So it'd be really hard to, but don't try to. All right. I just really want to hear. I'm not an English professor, or a stickler with regard to grammar. I just want to hear your own good thoughts and thinkings about each of the subjects that we're going to be covering, right? Important subjects that we're going to be covering together. All right. If you want to contact me, I'm supposed to only communicate with you through your official EKU email for your own privacy purposes. And then, your student code of conduct. If you need any help or assistance, you know where the Student Success Center is on campus, or you can email them at the email that follows right here if you need some tutorial support. But again, if you're needing some kind of tutorial support, maybe we can work out arrangements here with regard to other students in our class and starting some study sessions or group sessions together. Okay? And so that's about it in terms of the syllabus and what you have to do in order to prepare for the semester ahead. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'll stop the share now. Okay, I guess that's me. And look forward to working with everybody this term. And then I think what I'll do maybe in the next day or two, I'll put a note here, is that I'll share my curriculum vitae, my publications in the field of environment and society, and my credentials. Right? I don't like to talk about myself. I like to listen to students and talk to students and hear about how they're thinking about things, and other people as well. And I'll could talk about a lot of the research projects that I'm doing now, and I might from time to time in terms of overviews to the content material. I'll jump on Zoom and just get you ready, gear you up, give you a good pep talk before you start that section. But anyway, that's enough from me, and I look forward to working with you. We've got 33 students enrolled in the class so far, and that's exciting. So we'll have a good group, okay? And again, feel free to email me and introduce yourself. But remember, you're going to introduce yourself to the rest of the class through the discussion board post. Oh, let me just show you where that is, guys. Let me just get into that. Share. Okay, I want to just get in here. I want to go back to home EKU. You can see that. I want to go to Blackboard real quick. I just, I know you know where these things are, but I just want to show it to you real quick. You're hanging out with me this long. Okay, so it's 383. Okay, and yeah, and then it says here, I know you guys know how to navigate. You guys are juniors and seniors. You know how to navigate through Blackboard. Go to your blog posts. And then in terms of week one, introduce yourself. Uh, and then just view the instructions here. Click those on. And I always use Adobe Express to kind of, introductions, environment, and society. Write of a meaningful moment outdoors. Okay. In the blog space, please share any special memories or moments when you were outside in nature, on a mountain, near the shore, or in a pasture, or simply walking down a city street on a quiet morning. Okay. I want you to go back and just write beautifully. There's some images to inspire you guys. Tell us about that time outside that you now fondly recall. Who was with you, right? Oftentimes when we're out in the natural world, oftentimes the experience is not just with nature, but the people that are with us, right? There's the social element of that already. And who was with you? What were you doing? What did you see, feel, hear, or taste? What was so special about that moment that you can recall it now? And in terms of the who was with you, it might not have just been another human. It could have been a non-human species, right? I think some of my best times are out with my horse and my dog, right, on the trails. And what was so special about that moment that you can recall it now? How often do you think about that time? It could have been a moment where your adrenaline was up, and things like that, where you weren't sure whether or not you were going to make it out or not, okay? Share a story, a good story. Anyway, yeah, these are beautiful. Okay, I've got some stories to share, and you might have some too in terms of your experiences. Okay. The the objective of this blog is not to just think about the environment as strewn with environmental problems that demand solutions, but also to think about the natural world as a place of beauty, respite, love, and inspiration. Okay. And I'm going through this, but you should linger over some of these images. It fills our eyes with joy and wonder. Let us celebrate that fact by sharing those beautiful moments of inspirations in this first blog post. Okay? Not your standard introduction. You need to write to each of these prompts. Get in the practice now of writing at least 500 words, as that will be the word minimum for all blogs that follow this term. Get in the practice also of responding to 2 other student blogs by writing at least a 200-word response, as that will be the requirement for blog responses to the rest of the term. Pretty. Enjoy this opportunity to reflect on your experiences and personal relationship to the natural world. Okay, that's really neat. Okay. All right. And then once you've kind of thought about that and drafted and drafted your response, you might want to just cut and paste it into a thread it says create, oh, I forgot to show you, create new thread, and then just give it a title, and then cut and paste your writing into the blog's editor, the editor space that you'll see there. I would always work in a Word document or a Google Doc before, because you never know how the internet is. It's pretty precarious sometimes. You don't want to lose your work in terms of just working straight from Blackboard. And also this way you'll have a good catalog of these writings as you prepare for the final essays. Okay? Yeah, I'm looking forward to working with everybody. Exciting times ahead. I'm already getting pumped, all right? And so again, feel free to email me if you have any questions. And I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.